gentlemen, and what a wonderful month we've had, and well done to all of you submitting your images. I am, as always, very impressed. I thought I was giving you a really difficult challenge with 3 photos which relate one way or another to each other, and you've certainly done it. You've certainly risen to the challenge, and I am impressed with your submissions. So that having been said, let me just say it's been a terrific month for me with the camera, and I'm really 100% go ahead at present, so that's really good. So let's get on with the criticism, and our friend Mo will record the critique. So let's have a look. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is image 3A, and as we always say, we can learn from each other's photos, and I think there's a lot to learn from this photo. Look, if you will, with me at the stamen and the anthers on this beautiful flower shot. Notice how the closest item, which is the end of the stamen there, is absolutely pin sharp, as indeed are the ends of the anthers. Even into the very base of the flower, the inner part of the flower, we have retained sharpness. So the photographer has thought about the aperture. You remember what I've said: small number, big aperture, shallow depth of field. Big number, small aperture, small hole, yeah, and a deeper depth of field. Look with me, if you will, at the flowers on the left and the right, which are suitably drifting into softness, giving us a 3-dimensionality to this image. It's very well done. I like that a lot. "3B, what a glorious riot of colour we have here." And once again, you'll notice the selected aperture has given us the depth of field which is absolutely perfect. I love this photo. The colour, the rendition, the sharpness, the position of the point of focus, the point of interest, it's all very well chosen indeed. I have very little more to say about that. I haven't even mentioned vignetting, and I don't think you need it in every photo. In fact, I wouldn't do it on this one. I think the photographer has chosen the aperture suitably. They've produced a riot of colour, and it's an absolutely gorgeous photo. Image 3C, here we have much more of a stand back and look at the flower in context of the shrubbery around it. And again, look at with me, ladies and gentlemen, at the aperture that's been chosen to throw the shrubbery into very, very soft focus, making this flower, this blossom, stand out beautifully. So little more to say about it, except that whoever this belongs to has really mastered aperture, and I know, indeed I am sure, that all of you have done that from looking at your images this month. So looking now at the collection of the 3, I have to ask myself whether A, they're in the right orientation, B, whether they tell me a story. Looking at it, it would be exactly what you or I would do when walking through a garden of these lovely flowers. You'd see a blossom maybe a few paces away. You'd look more closely at it, the center image, and then you'd look even more closely at it, the right hand image. Excuse me. So I think they've gone together really well. I love the riot of colour. I love the selection of different coloured blossoms, and I think, if I may put words into Doreen's mouth, I think she'd like a copy of those, because I can just imagine Doreen taking those images and turning them into watercolours. I know that they are going to be spectacular. I'd like those myself. 3 little watercolours, not big, I think you'll all agree with me, 3 small paintings based on those photographs would be really, really pleasant. Perhaps wrapped in a nice wrapper and a box of chocolates to go with and given to your loved one. I think that's great. So well done on those three. Very well seen, very well composed, and particularly a well chosen aperture. Great. Moving on. Image 5A. I do like images of markets. I may have shown some of you some of my 7,000 images from Burma, about 3,500 of which are markets. And this is an intriguing photo, you know, of the three things that you have to do to get the marks from a judge. You have, in this case, presented an intriguing photo. What do I want to do? I want to look at the vegetables. I have to read how much it is. This is going to be an historic photo. You'll come back in 20 years' time and look at this and you'll say, crumbs, asparagus, only £1.50. In 20 years' time, it'll be 10 times that. So it's an historic photo. It's fixed in time. It's intriguing. It takes me into the photo, and I like that very much. As a source of photographic challenge, marketplaces abound with opportunities. If I look at this critically, rather more critically, my eye is distracted a little bit by the top left-hand corner, and I would tend to have cropped that out or darkened it down, or, come on Suzanne, vignetted it. You're right. I hope the next two are going to be just as intriguing. Moving on to 5B. We've just bought the vegetables. Now we're going to chop them up. Not that strawberries are vegetables, but there you go. Go with the idea. So we've got a cooking saucepan on the gas. We've got a hand chopping up the vegetables. The knife, beautifully rendered. No specular highlights on the knife, so we know it's a knife. We've got the vegetables ready to be chopped, and I'm beginning to feel a story coming on. That's good. Very good indeed. I like that. And I'll move immediately to 5C, where having been chopped, having been pureed, having been cooked, we now have this array of food. We have some sort of mashed up carrots, I guess, a plate of food, some vegetables in plates. Very well thought of, very well seen. And immediately I can see the story that is being written by this author. Very well done, you've done it beautifully. One or two things about it I will observe. Number one, the brightness of the window on the left-hand top corner. And number two, if you look at, or you try to find verticals in this photo, you'll see that the verticals are distorted, indicating that the photographer has used a wide-angle lens. Now, wide-angle lenses are great for this. I love them. But watch it. If you've got verticals, they'll be, shall I say, wonky. That doesn't affect me one bit in this photo. Just be aware of it. But I'm very appreciative of the story that has been told by these three photos. Excellently carried out. Good aperture. The carrots mashed up in front of me, pin sharp. The other plates of vegetables dropping into softness, and the wall in the background with that lovely Chinese vase, very, very soft indeed. How would I have done that differently? I may well have drawn the curtain across that window at the back, or somehow reduced the light coming, the brightness, dare I say. There seems to be a beer glass or something, and a milk jug. The beer glass seems to be out of focus, unless I'm mistaken. Maybe it's not a beer glass, maybe it's something else. I'm quite happy about it, but I don't know why it's there, because the photo is about cooked vegetables. I don't know why the Chinese vase is in the background, and why was the chair there? Maybe the chair was part of sitting at the table. Okay, I'll go with that. But why not move? You can move the milk jug. Did you need the milk jug? Did you need the vase in the backdrop there? Well done, great little photo. Speaking of photos, there's a photo on the shelf behind of somebody's grandchild. Is that part of the scene? I think thinking about the backdrop would have improved this particular image, but it's good. It's one of the story. It's told me a good story, and I'm impressed. Now, altogether, we can now see how this story has evolved from buying the vegetables in the market to preparing them in the kitchen, chopping them, cooking them, whatever, and then having some of those prepared in the plates on the right hand side. So the author commendably has thought up the story that goes with these photos. So well done, and I guess I know whose that is, and it's great. Very, very good. Original thinking. Lovely. I'm going to 9A, and here we are with a toothbrush again. Now, I got told off last time for calling it a toothbrush because it was a yard broom or something, but what a good photo. Look at it. Even though later we were going to try to see it as part of a triptych, here we're seeing this intriguing photo. The bristles coming out of the stem. Is it a toothbrush? Is it a yard brush? I don't know. I don't care. But it's a pattern photo. It's an intriguing photo. And look with me, if you will, ladies and gentlemen, at the composition from the bottom left-hand corner up to the top right-hand corner. You can't get better than that. That's really good. Now, of course, you might say, well, half the photo has just got yellow painted wood or whatever it is in it. Yep, fine. I'm happy about that. It gives me a modernistic, minimalist feel. I like it a lot. Going to 9B, we have here another intriguing photo. What the devil is it? I have no idea. But I know that it goes with the first image, wherein we had that strong diagonal, and here we have a strong diagonal with, again, an echo of those bristles in the first photo. Whatever these green stems are, they're really looking good. I like the originality of this a lot. So whoever produced this, and again I suspect I know who produced it, that's original thinking. Well done. I think that's great. I'm intrigued to know what it is. Let's move on to 9C because I want to see what's next. And 9C, here we have another toothbrush, yard brush, whatever. And again we're using that strong diagonal, bottom left corner to top right corner. Great. Focus absolutely perfect on the nearest bristles, dropping into softness as the bristles get further away from the lens. I'm a little distracted by the light grey triangle in the top left corner, but it's not worrying me in the least. And I do like the originality of those three photos. If we put them all together, let's see if it tells us a story. Well, in a sense, it does. It's a brush, it's a heaven knows what, and then it's another brush. I'm wondering about the orientation, whether the centre one should be the right-hand one, and the right-hand one should be the centre one. That way, you would have, as it were, bookmarks holding the whole thing in. Of course, you could reverse the whole thing if you really, really wanted to. And you get the same effect. But I do like that. I'm intrigued. Does it tell me a story? Well, I'm thinking. Does it intrigue me? Definitely. Does it make me laugh? Well, it made me smile, so it's got to be good. So well done on that. Very, very challenging. And that's good. Well done. Ah, yes, the QE2 bridge. In this case, going from Essex to Kent. Taken from inside a vehicle with the brake lights of the vehicle ahead showing up. Now, of course, if the vehicle's going the way this one is, you're going down the tunnel. Great, that's fine. We all know which way the bridge goes, and which way the tunnel goes. So it's a very well seen photo. It has these irritating cables going across, but you can't ever get rid of those. I mean, you can spend hours and hours in Photoshop, but why bother? This is beginning a story. What's the story going to be, ladies and gentlemen? What can we see? What are we expecting? Are you on the edge of your chair waiting for the next image to see what comes next? Well, I am, and let's have a look. Oh, it's the tunnel. Well, surprise, surprise, here we go. So this time, we've been to Kent, and now we're going to Essex. We're in Kent, we're going to Essex. We're down the tunnel. Pin sharp where it needs to be. Motion blur around the edges of this image. It's very well taken. Taken by the passenger, you'll notice. So thank goodness the driver wasn't taking it. And I think it's well seen. Very well taken. It's a photo I've often thought of taking myself, but as the driver it's a bit difficult to hold the camera, press the shutter and steer at the same time. But very well done. And you can almost read the number plate of the Mini in front, so that's great. I love the motion, the feeling of motion in this image. Very, very interesting indeed. Okay, so I've been over the bridge, I've gone to Kent, and now I'm coming back under the tunnel. What's next? Shall we see? Oh, it's the bridge again. So, I'm not sure why we've got a photo of the bridge again. I went to Kent, and I came back from Kent. And now, these cars are going back to Kent again. So, okay, well seen, a good shot. How does it make the story? Let's have a look and see if it makes the story. Well, of course you might reverse what I've been saying, that the first image, the left-hand image, is really approaching the tunnel. I can see the bridge. The next is going through the tunnel, and the last one, hopefully, is coming out of the tunnel and watching cars go by. Well, maybe that's the story. Yeah, I think that is. I think that is. I think the strongest photo there, the strongest, is the middle photo. That's the one that intrigues me most. That's the one that's really getting me going. I'm delighted by that one. So yes, there's the story. We're approaching the tunnel. We're going through the tunnel, and we popped out of the tunnel at the other side, and we're looking at the vehicles. Presumably, we are led to believe which are approaching the bridge. Not sure that's quite so, but there we go. A good idea of the story, some good photos, and I love the second one. Very well done indeed. Image 11A. Decay and dereliction. What are we looking at? Some sort of door hook, which is beautifully rusty, with the light coming obliquely across the subject, giving me intriguing shadows of that flaking paint. I like that straight away. The hook is on the third. The light is oblique. The image itself is looking superb. I'm very impressed. Yeah, I like that. Now I'm thinking about where we're going to go next. What's the author leading me to expect? Now, what would I have that on? I'd have that on the post or the wall or the side, so that when I open a door, I can hook that door open and the wind won't blow it shut. So let's have a look at what comes next. Oh, here we have the ye oldie English derelict beach hut. An interesting take on the beach hut. It's certainly blue flaky paint. I can't quite see the hook that I was expecting to see, and I'd have hoped the door to be hooked back so that my story is evolving. Nonetheless, we have very much, what would you call it, highly desirable residence, a highly desirable beach hut, which with a lick of paint and a bit of sandpaper would be no doubt worth thousands and thousands. Interesting here how the verticals are converging. Look, ladies and gentlemen, with me at the way that the side on the left and the side on the right are converging. Those verticals are converging. Now, I am quite happy with converging verticals if it's showing me how high the object is, the tall object. However, you have to have them, shall I say, converging by the same amount. And they are in this case. And they are because the photographer is jolly nearly standing in the centre, the line of the centre of this beach hut. And that enables the verticals to converge equally. It's when they converge unequally that it looks odd. This looks fine. So what have I got in my story so far? I've got a hook to hook open a door. I've got an old derelict beach hut, blue flaky paint. I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. Oh, and there we are, the hinge on the door. I was expecting a door, and what did I get? I got a hinge. And this hinge is suitably rusty, flaky, derelict. I think if that was my beach hunt, I might start again by knocking it about a bit. And sorry if it's yours, but there we go. It needs some more timber rather than just a lick of paint to hide up the rot. Another interesting photo. I'm almost wanting a fourth and a fifth and a sixth to show me this door open on this rusty hinge, hooked back by the hook in the first image, and then I'm intrigued because I want to know what's inside it. Maybe someone posing as a resident, somebody maybe with a kettle on the burner and a cup of tea. Nonetheless, we've got the beginnings of a very good story here, and if we look at all three of them, we can see how the story has evolved. There's the hook, there's the beach hut, there's the rusty hinge. What should be the next image? Well, you know your homework, don't you? You know what I'm going to say. Whoever took this, what's your homework? Speak up. Come on, tell me. What are you doing next? Yes, you're doing the door. And we want the door open and hooked back. And the fifth image would be somebody brewing up inside the beach hut. That may not be possible. Maybe it's not your beach hut. Maybe it is, I don't know. But it's certainly beginning a very interesting sequence and a story. So I like that. Well done, well seen, well thought of. You know, I thought I was giving you a really difficult challenge, and you've all come up with stories in your photos. That's brilliant. Original thinking. I'm impressed. Oh, the windmill, image 12A. How lovely. How lovely. I wonder where that is. Is it Thaxted? I'm not sure. But it's such a lovely image. And I particularly like, well, you know what I'm going to say, that cloudy sky. A real sky with cloud in it. Not just those nasty blue skies that mother-in-law likes for the wedding when the bride's in white and the groom's in black and the sun's shining and everyone's squinting. That's great. I love it. Good day for photography. Looks like rain's coming. Get your camera out. Go and take some photos. Fantastic. I love that windmill. It's good. Look with me, ladies and gentlemen, at the shadow of the sails on the post of the windmill. That's giving me a three-dimensionality. The sun is off to the right-hand side and quite high. It's a midday-ish picture. Somebody's going to say, oh no, it's not. It's 11 o'clock. Okay. Either way, it's midday-ish. And a better time, an even better time, is dawn, give or take, and dusk, give or take. I do know some photographers that put their cameras away at midday just to avoid the harsh shadows and to get a lower light and some oblique lighting on the brickwork. Of course, you're not in charge of the weather any more than I am. Speaking of which, I wonder where we'll go on Wednesday, bearing in mind I've already looked at the weather forecast. But we'll see. Might change the subject I give you as well. Tell you about that later. Okay, windmill. What's the story then, author? Oh, look. Wow. we've actually got the grindstone going around. A suitable choice of shutter speed. So it's a slow shutter speed. It may have been, I don't know, half a second, quarter of a second, something like that, as the grind wheel goes around and the ears of corn are shaken down into the grind wheel, and they're being ground away. I'm seeing a story evolve straight away. Very good indeed. Very well thought out. You've done so well at telling me a story, and I don't even know what's coming next. Crumbs. I'm there. I'm with it. Let's go to 12C. 12C. Oh, there's the corn. And there's the flour that's been ground. How brilliant. Very well seen indeed. Excellent. Really told me a superb story. Superb story. And to show me all three, yeah, great. The windmill, the millstone, and the wheat being turned into flour. Fantastic. What would you do for a fourth image? Well, I know what I'd suggest. There you are, there's your homework. Do me a fourth image so it tells the complete story. Yeah, that's very good. I do like that. Well done. I love it. Gosh, I didn't know you lot were so inventive. It's very, very good indeed. I am challenged by how good you are. What on earth am I going to give you next time? You wait and see. Oh, image 14A. I have a turtle that seems to be cocking its leg. Do turtles cock their legs? Well, obviously this one did. It's on a mission. It's going somewhere. And, yeah, I don't know what's coming next. Good photo. Taken into the sunlight. Breaking all the rules that your mother taught you when you first had a Brownie 127. Very good. Look at the way the structure is shown on the shell of the turtle. It's showing up those, what do you call them, wrinkles on its shell. It's very good. Not sure the head is in focus. Am I worried about that? Maybe I should be. And maybe a smaller hole, bigger number for the aperture, the F number, would have given you a deeper depth of field. Having said that, the wooden walkway is dropping into softness as we go out to the top right hand corner of the image, and it comes in, look at it, from the bottom left hand corner. Strong composition, well done. I like it a lot. What on earth are you going to show me next? A turtle cocking its leg. Oh, I dare not think what the next one is. Oh, he's found a friend. How lovely. Hey, this is good. So, this turtle, having clambered up onto this walkway, having relieved himself, has now walked to the other side of the walkway and found a friend. How sweet. A good choice of focal point. In fact, I think the head is just a tad soft. But I'm seeing a story evolve. I am seeing a story, and it's good. I like this a lot. What's the backdrop? Is that the water of the pond below? I can't see any evidence that it's been cut out and put onto a blue backdrop. But I am seeing what's called colour noise. If you look closely at the blue background, you'll see speckles of green, of dark blue, and of lighter blue. This is called colour noise. And you just have to be aware of it and careful about it. I don't know which camera you took it on, but clearly we're getting a little bit of colour noise. And as far as this photo is concerned, it's made a very good next step on the story that you're telling me. Oh, they got married and off they go together. How lovely. What a terrific little story. Well, I would never have expected that. And they lived happily ever after. Well done. Thank you for that. Now that gets a tick in the box for making David laugh. So that's good. Look at the three of them together, beautifully composed, with a turtle coming down the pathway, meeting a friend, and then going off together. The ends are walking in towards the centre of the threesome, the triptych, and it's very, very well seen. Yep, that makes David laugh. You get a tick in the box. Hey, I don't know. This is so good. Ah, heavens! What am I going to give you next month? I've got to think of something difficult, haven't I? Because you've done so darn well. My word. Oh, 16A. Somebody's grandson. Right-handed. With whatever sort of golf club that is. Obviously the boy knows what he's doing. The boy is on the third. The stand with the golf clubs in them, the golf bag, is also on the third. Very well seen, very well taken. Pity about the hedge growing downhill. Did you notice the top of the hedge? It's sliding off to the left-hand side of the photo. Just watch your horizontals. Try to straighten the thing up. Because at present this boy is playing golf uphill. Maybe that's the way it is. I don't know. But the lampposts in the path, they're also leaning downhill. So just try to straighten that up in Photoshop or crop it appropriately. It's beginning to tell me a story. What's he going to do? Is he going to hit that ball? Is he going to miss that ball? Is he going to say something rude? He looks like he knows what he's doing, more than I do. So, yeah, just as well he's playing golf and not me. Going on to the next image, image 16B. Oh, and here we have the follow through. The boy has hit the golf ball and he's showing motion. So I'm quite happy with the motion, particularly in the golf club. His whole body is moving, and I'm quite happy about that. Although I think perhaps his left leg ought to be static. But there again, I'm not a golfer, so I don't know. Do you move your left leg as you strike the ball? I don't know. Unfortunately, there's a bit of camera shake in here as well. So we've motion blur that I'm happy with, and we've got camera shake, so you weren't using a tripod. If a tripod wasn't appropriate, use a monopod. Once again, the golf pitch, do you call it a pitch? Anyway, the golf course, the golf green, seems to be slightly on the wonk. So very well seen. It's telling me a story. I like the principle. Photographically, we've got a little way to go, but we're certainly getting there. Going on to 16C, and the boy is on the, what do you call it, the green, where the golf ball is about to go down the hole, and he's obviously got the ball very close to the hole. He's lifted the flag out, and the story, the sequence is complete. Did he get there in time for the ball to roll down the hole? Well, if he did, that's his twin brother. He moved darn quick from striking the ball to legging it up to the green and standing there watching the ball go down the hole. So jolly good. I love the story. Yeah, I like the story very much indeed. A little bit of practice on the motion shots, trying to keep the camera steady. If you're panning with the player, if it's maybe the boy running or a motor car moving, panning with that. In this case, I think holding the camera dead still and not giving it any camera shake would have been an improvement, but it's certainly made a jolly good story. And I'm sure the boy, perhaps your grandson, or you've borrowed this boy from next door, and I'm sure he'll be very pleased with that little sequence. Let's have a look at the whole sequence. And yeah, I'm liking that a lot. It's certainly telling me the story, and I think you've achieved something there. As I say, watch the horizontals, try to practice with high shutter speed and using a monopod so that you don't get camera shake. The last observation I would make is that the third photo, the scale of the boy is so much smaller than the other two. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to show me the green on which he's standing with the flag in his hand, to which the ball has been struck and has landed, has arrived. But do you see what I mean about the scale of the boy? Nonetheless, a very good story. I like that a lot, so well done. Homework, do it again, and get the middle one a little better, get the first one horizontal, and go in, get closer to the boy, so that he is the same scale in the photo as in the first two. But it's very, very well seen, very well thought out story. I like that a lot. 19A. Good. Chess pieces. Now they don't actually look as if they're on a chessboard. And I'm going to take it they're all sorted out the right way. And these are, of course, the white chess pieces. It looks like they've been stood on black glass, and I like the reflection. As a photograph, I like that a lot. I'm distracted a little bit by the specular bright grey in the top right hand corner, and I'm sorry to see, unless it's my screen. Oh no, probably it's my screen. I was going to say the nearest castle has lost its top in the reflection, but no, it's there. I've changed the magnification on the screen. So I like that one. That's intriguing. Yeah, they're not, as far as I can see, on a chessboard, but there again I am seeing on the right hand side some little black and white rectangular angles, so maybe, just maybe, there's a chessboard and it's just not showing up terribly well. No, I like that. As a photo on its own, I like that. Wonder how that was lit. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, tell me. Study this photo. How was it lit? Is it flash? Is it ambient light? Where did the light come from? Was it the left? Was it the right? Was it above? What changes would have been achieved by moving the source of the light? Of course, you can't change where the window is if it's ambient light, but you can spin the whole of the shiny glass plate around. Pity about that reflection off of the wall on the right hand side, and there's an intriguing black shadow there which might be a clue as to how it was lit, not least because it's relatively sharp edged. Yeah, I like that. Where's he going to take me next? What's the next step in this story? Here we are with the white pieces of the chess game. Okay, let's have a look at what's next. Oh, we've got some more white pieces. So we've got two sets of white pieces, and there is a hint of a checkerboard there showing through. Now, the pieces, when you play chess, don't you have white pieces and black pieces? Well, anyway, we've got two sets of white pieces here, and don't you put them on a checkerboard? But these have been positioned, and look with me at the way they've been positioned. So they are ranked, going further and further away, but they're not on the checkerboard of the chessboard, which is fine with me. I'm quite happy with that. But they all seem to be white, and unless a sort of grubby brown look discerns those that are not white, I don't know. I don't think I can tell the difference between them. Nonetheless, oh, and is this a clever photo where the photographer has taken one set of white chess pieces and then flipped the image and saved that alongside the original? Could it be? I don't think it is, but maybe some clever clogs has tried to fool me here. Yep, I think that's good. That's very well seen. I'm not sure where the story is. What's the story? What's he going to do to me next? Is he going to say, here is a chess battle taking place, here are the arrayed armies, the whites and the grubby browns on the right, and something's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know what's coming next. So I'm intrigued. So it ticks the box. I'm intrigued. It's also a jolly good photo. Oh, we've got more white pieces. I've clicked the wrong thing here. Oh, right, okay. So this is 19C, and these are what I would call grubby brown, and they've suddenly appeared on a checkerboard. Now they're not in the right positions on the checkerboard. In fact, they're arranged off an angle. So the checkerboard is interesting in that it's there and it completes the picture. So I've got another set of white pieces. I'm going to take it there in the right order, and it's another good photo with an intriguing reflection in the, well, it does look like a glass plate with the black and white checker underneath it. Very shiny. I love, pardon me, the reflections, and yeah, an interesting photo. Interesting in itself. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look back. I want to see this sequence. That's 19A, right? Okay. That's the two armies facing each other. 19B, and that's the grubby brown ones on the right hand side. Yeah, I was hoping for a story to evolve, and I think the story has rather let me down, or down the author. So 3 interesting photos, though I think I'd have looked for a set of black pieces to oppose the white pieces. If I go to 19B again, I'd have expected to see white pieces facing black pieces, and of course that's the wedding photographer's challenge. Okay, I know what your homework is. Your homework is to do it again with a set of white pieces and a set of black pieces. Not easy, I will tell you now, it is not easy. It's the wedding photographer's nightmare, you know. Bright white wedding dress, jet black groom's suit, and showing detail in the black and not burning out the white. Yep, definitely homework. So whoever you are, well done. I'm definitely wanting to see that when you've redone it, please. So yep, good idea. Well photographed. Not sure what the story is, and I definitely want you to do homework. But yeah, good. I like that. We're going to 23A. A beautiful dawn or sunset, one or the other, don't care which. The sun is on the 3rd. Its reflection is beautifully shown in the lake and the nearest stretch of water. The photograph is bookended by the tree on the left and the tree on the right. Suitably chosen aperture to get a depth of field that keeps the island, dare I say, that tropical island in the sun, beautifully sharp. Don't tell me it's Canvey Island. I know all about Canvey Island. It's a wonderful tropical venue. I don't know if it's Canvey or not, but it's a jolly good photo. I like it. The silhouette of the trees against those lovely colours in the sky, gradually blending down to the clouds on the horizon there. The horizon is horizontal. I'm happy with that, and the reflection in the nearest stretch of water has retained detail. So a judge, if you put this up in your Sally Army Camera Club, a judge might say, well, the sun is burned out. Well, of course it's burned out. It's the sun. But there's detail in the reflection in the nearest stretch of water. So that's great. I like that a lot. I will give you another small tip as to what to look for. Depending on the way your camera works, and I'll just have a look at the EXIF data. Right, I know what that is. The sun can be turned into what I would call a starburst. And you'll see with some photos, in some photos that you look at, that where the sun is in a photo, and I might show you one of mine, the sun is turned into a starburst, and this is achieved by choosing the smallest hole, largest number for your aperture. It will of course give you a very, very deep depth of field, which of course is what you want in this case. But that aside, I think that's a lovely photo. Would make a good framed canvas print hanging on the wall, and I think you should be proud of it. I like it. Okay, well, as a triptych, where is the author taking me next? 23B. Well, I have another sunset, a country lane somewhere with these power lines, and the sun's dipping down, giving me another silhouette. Pretty heavy storm clouds. I love those storm clouds. Very good indeed. The brightness of the sun coming through the clouds in the distance is not burned out seriously. It is showing me that it's the real sun there, and I do like that. I'm not sure where the story is. How many times did your sun set? Oh, maybe this is on that tropical island that you're trying to take me to, where we're looking at stormy clouds on tropical islands and at sunset. Maybe. Of course, I hear a little voice in the distance saying it's dawn. Well, okay, I can't tell the difference. Ah, now I know where we are. So when the sun sets, Ayers Rock glows red. I'm not sure that this is red, but anyway, it's what Australians might think is red. I'm not sure why we want a photo of a little family group taking a photo of a person in blue shorts, and my attention is taken by them. They're doing something. I don't mind photos with people in them. It does give me a sense of scale. So what have I got? 23C. I've had a sunset, I've had another sunset, and now I've got Ayers Rock at sunset. Could be dawn for all I know. Anyway, I'm not sure how the story's going here. They're three lovely photos. Ayers Rock glowing nicely, a bit of a boring sky, but I guess the interesting sky was behind the photographer. So yes, three well done photos. Thank you for those. And putting them together, you'll see my difficulty of seeing a story here. Am I making difficulties for myself here? Is one sunset, did you drive through the night, and then the middle one is dawn next day, at which time you'd arrived at Ayers Rock, and Ayers Rock is glowing? Well, the skies don't go together, do they? Yep, okay, that's my difficulty. So your homework, go back to Australia and do the whole thing again. Very good indeed, well done. Image 25A, wonderful variegated ivy. I love it. That's very, very good. The sort of thing that you used to buy as prints in the that chain of print shops that used to exist. I like that. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be looking because it's all so interesting, and that means perhaps that the author hasn't chosen a point to focus on and hasn't opened up their aperture sufficiently to allow anything further away to go into softness. Nonetheless, it's a good backdrop photograph, and let's move on to 25B. Now they're taking me into one of these variegated leaves, and yes, so now I know what the story is. I was looking at the bush, and now the photographer has taken me into one of those leaves. Yeah, I like that. I'm distracted by the shed or the door, the back garden door on the left hand side, not least because it's wonky, but maybe your shed is falling over, so okay on that. And the stems are dropping into softness because of the suitable choice of aperture that you have chosen. So yeah, I like the way that's going. I am intrigued to know what you're going to show me next. Let's have a look. Shall we see 25C? The greater view, the wider view of this variegated is not an ivy, is it? It's a, oh, heaven knows what that is. Is that the sort of sycamore? I don't know. Beautiful tree. Love it. I love it. And a suitable choice of position to take that in. But did you want me to look down the garden path at the pond and the seats at the end of the garden? Because that's what I'm doing. There are leading lines here taking me from the position of the photographer through under the tree, past the privet hedges on the left and the right, through to that little sunspot at the end of the garden. A very interesting photo in itself. I'm not sure where you wanted me to go in this photograph. What's the story? Would it be better, perhaps, to rearrange these so that your first photo is the last one you showed me, the wide angle shot, and then your second photo is the detail of all of those variegated leaves, and your third and last photo is the straightened single variegated leaf. That would give me more of a sequence there. Of course, you might say you want to do the reverse, in which case the middle photo should be the first one, the first one should be the second one, and the last one would be still be the last one. I think the story is there, but it's somewhat muddled. Nonetheless, I like the photos, and I'm particularly appreciative of the first one you showed us. That would have been 25A, which I'm just going to click on again just to refresh my memory. Yes, I do like that photo with all of the leaves. It's a very, very peaceful photo, and I can just see Doreen picking up her sketch pad and making a lovely painting of that. I think that's lovely. That's got a lot of potential. Okay, homework, author, homework, do it again. Do that one and choose a wider aperture. So a lower f number, a bigger hole. Bring me into one of those leaves and get it pin sharp and get everything else drifting off into softness. I think that's got a lot of potential. Yes, I do like that. Thank you for that. I'm moving on now to 34A, wherein we have a photo of a dead cat. This dead cat is lit from the left hand side, so that the shadow falls on the paving stone below the corpse. Its muzzle, its nose, is in deep shadow, and its black fur, so it's quite a challenge. You'll notice, ladies and gentlemen, that the detail has been retained in the white fur around the neck of the dead cat, whilst in the deep dark shade on its muzzle, it's very difficult to see any detail except on what I take to be the nose of the deceased. Well, there we are. What on earth is the story going to be? I don't know. Well, let's see. Where is the author taking me? Oh, here we have the full corpse. It's actually been run over and placed for its wake on the pavement. Yes. Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Oh, it's come back to life. It's lifted its head up. Oh my goodness gracious me. It wasn't dead after all. Okay. So what's the story? What's the story? Okay. Maybe this cat was sleeping in the sun with his eyes open, trying to look quite nonchalant in image 2, when you came along with your camera and irritated it, and it lifted its head up to say, "So what are you looking at me for?" Okay. Yeah, it's made a story. It's made a story. Thank you. That was 34D. Alright, well, there we go. Some fantastic stories. I'm intrigued by many of those, and you are showing how expert you are at these photos. And I will say I went yesterday, I'm recording this on Monday, so yesterday I spent the whole day looking at panels of photos by umpteen photographers, and your collective skills, I would not hesitate to say, would be easily superior to many of the photographers whose panels I saw yesterday. So well done all of you, I think they're great. So we move on to the conclusion, and young Mo's standing here with his camera ready and his microphone tuned in, and we'll move on to the conclusion. I thought that was a dead cat. Let me say, I'm really looking forward to discerning, deciding, disseminating the summer challenge. Now, what shall I give you? Shall I give you something hard? Or shall I give you something easy? Shall I give you something lots and lots of colour in it? Or shall I give you something which is a challenge that you haven't yet faced? Well, what shall we do? I know what Suzanne's going to say, but I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is this, and I'll tell you on Wednesday.